Welcome back to the haven where whispers are weighed and truth is polished until it glows. You are watching Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If the last few weeks have felt like pushing through fog, squinting at headlines that seem determined to bruise your heart, breathe in this moment. Today is the day the air clears. For everyone who has cherished the rare chemistry between Çağatay Ulusoy and the luminous Hazal, this long dusk has stretched on far too long. We've all been stumbling under the weight of worst-case fantasies, watching the rumor mill grind with cruel efficiency. But the cycle broke, and not because of a press agent or a staged statement. It ended because someone whose voice carries the warmth of a home and the gravity of a promise stepped forward and spoke plainly. A guardian at the core of it all opened the door and let the light in. Tonight on Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we are unpacking the moment that rerouted a narrative on the verge of collapse. We are examining the words of a father who refused to watch his son be reduced to gossip, and we are witnessing a circle of family knit more tightly than any scandal could ever pull apart. Before we step into that clarity, a question for you, the pulse of this channel. Do you think love sustains itself without family blessing, or is that the final strand that binds everything together? If you thrive on these cinematic deep dives, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. And if you want to keep our independent voice loud and clear while joining our private community chats, the join button is waiting. Your support keeps the lights warm and the stories honest. Now, let's exhale and listen to what truly matters. To appreciate how much shifted today, we have to name the chaos we just walked through. The entertainment sphere was drenched in a downpour of manufactured drama aiming to wobble the foundation between Çağatay Ulusoy and Hazal. It read like a script written by someone who had never seen them together, jealousies conjured out of thin air, professional rivalry masquerading as distance, success painted as a barrier instead of a shared triumph. Every morning brought a fresh cut, a headline hinting that their fairy tale had been quietly folded away, either hours from breaking apart or already finished in secret. The chorus hammered a single message: the higher they rose, the thicker the wall between them, that sweetness had given way to cool misunderstandings. Fans were not only worried, they were heartsore, wondering whether a barrage of lies can wear down even the strongest love if repeated often enough. It's easy to think constant noise becomes reality when it never stops. But there's a truth that keeps its feet on the ground: roots grown deep don't topple when the wind changes. Just as the night felt at its heaviest, the light came, not from a studio lamp, not from a PR blueprint, but from a living room where family photos outnumber trophies. The quiet hero of this story doesn't move through crowds, he observes, steady and patient. We're talking about the father of Çağatay Ulusoy, a gentleman who has always preferred dignity to spectacle. He has watched the industry chew up moments and turn them into fodder, and still chosen silence, until now. When the happiness of his son and the honor of the woman his son loves were dragged into a carnival of invention, he rose without theatrics. Worn down by the churn of fabrication and moved by a fierce, protective calm, he spoke. Not to add fuel to the blaze, but to put it out. In a rare and deliberate interview given for one purpose, to close the curtain on farce, he spoke with the clarity of someone who has no agenda but truth. His voice was measured, but its weight was undeniable. I've listened to enough made-up stories on television. I can't pretend I don't hear them anymore. I know my son's heart. He would not abandon Hazal, she is the echo of his soul. Let those words settle. The echo of his soul. Not a casual label. Not a placeholder. It's language that brushes against a vow, the kind of sentiment that, in a culture where family speaks with the resonance of tradition, cuts through layers of spin. A father's recognition is not mere opinion, it's a blessing that seals a bond rather than defines it. And he didn't stop there. Aware of the poison dripping from invented tales about alleged friction between Hazal and the Ulusoy family, he addressed the heart of that lie with a softness that made it ring even truer. Hazal is not simply my son's partner, he said, choosing each word like a promise. To us, she is already like a daughter, warm, sincere, and cherished. My son's love for her knows no measure. In that moment, he flung open the door critics insisted was locked. To call her like a daughter is to throw the gate wide and invite her not only to sit at the table, but to belong there. This is the turning point the story needed. It rewrites the script that tabloids tried to sell, reminding us that the actual beats of a life are heard over coffee at the kitchen counter, not in algorithm-fed threads. How did those words land for you? Did you feel your shoulders unclench? Tell us in the comments. We do read every thought and every feeling. And if this careful breakdown speaks to you, hit like so other fans who are exhausted by the noise can find their way here. If you want to help us keep doing it right, tapping join makes you part of the heartbeat of this channel. Your presence matters more than you know. The father's account reached its most tender note not with a grand flourish, but with a small memory we never would have known otherwise. He described a moment in the family garden only days ago. Picture it. Late afternoon softening the world to gold, a breeze brushing through leaves, shadows on stone, and two people sharing a bench as if it were a tiny island built just for them. I saw them holding hands and speaking quietly about the days to come, he recalled, a smile in his voice even through the telling. There was a light in their eyes you can't rehearse. The way they looked at one another said clearly that nothing outside that moment could separate them. This was not a promotional tableau filtered for a magazine. It was the unguarded truth of home, two people sketching a life with words and glances while a father observed, unannounced, and understood. Their bond lives here, in the ordinary sacredness, where fame can't quite reach. The reaction to his testimony was immediate. Cameras found Çağatay Ulusoy after a long day on set, the kind of day that leaves the body heavy and the mind buzzing. He stepped into the night, and the questions found him, as they always do. When reporters relayed his father's message, those who stood nearby noted a visible change. Relief loosened his shoulders. Pride warmed his face. The wear and tension of the last weeks seemed to lift. With a smile that read first as gratitude and then as quiet defiance, he confirmed every note. My father is my North Star, he said, voice steady but edged with emotion. He has always read me right. If he says I won't leave Hazal, it's because that is the simple truth. Hazal is both home and horizon for me. Don't be misled by inventions, we are more aligned than ever. To call someone both home and horizon is to say they are where you rest and where you're going at the same time. In one sentence, he set a protective boundary around their world. And what of Hazal Kaya? Poised, gracious, unshakably warm. When reached not long after, her joy was unmistakable, though she wore it with her signature restraint. To be welcomed by the family of the man she loves means more than any cover story or glittering trophy could. With the easy elegance that has always marked her presence, she replied, feeling embraced by Çağatay's family is a gift I treasure deeply. His father is a wise, gracious man, and he has my utmost respect. His words gave me courage. The bond between us can't be undone. Listen to that, can't be undone. Unconditional. Definite. She not only reaffirmed her love, she honored the path that brought them here and the family that steadies it. In doing so, she closed the space malicious narratives tried to pry open. She isn't on the threshold, she is inside, part of the house's very frame. But it didn't end with curbside quotes and flashes. Sources we trust tell us that, as the public wave settled, a small dinner was quietly arranged. A private family evening to thank the father whose calm words cut through storm clouds. Imagine the table, comfortable and familiar, with dishes that taste like memory, clinking glasses, stories that overlap because everyone knows the endings by heart. The room was threaded with relief, the kind you feel after a hard-won clarity, not triumphalist, but tender. At some point, the attention drifted to the head of the table as Çağatay lifted his glass. He met his father's gaze and said, "Thank you for reminding everyone how entirely I love this woman." It wasn't designed as a headline. It was a renewal of promise, spoken where promises keep their shape. And so the magazines that tried to force a split now find themselves backtracking. The narrative they constructed has dissolved under the weight of a father's blessing and two people who don't flinch. Çağatay isn't stepping away from Hazal. Hazal isn't stepping away from Çağatay. As his father made plain, he knows his son's heart, and that heart holds steady for her. This is not just a favorite on-screen pairing and not simply parallel careers intersecting for convenience. This is a family coming into being, learning its rhythm, protecting its quiet, celebrating its milestones. Those are the stories that endure, the ones that move through seasons with patience. As for what lies ahead, the view feels bright. The conversation under the trees may have drifted to the shape of home, to roots that find the right ground and stay. Perhaps there is talk of a place that belongs only to them, something with a door they lock not against the world but for their peace. Whatever they build next will rise from the firm earth they defended with such care these last weeks. Thank you for spending this time with us on Turkish Spotlight Secrets, honoring not the noise but the truth that hums beneath it. If this eased your mind or warmed your day, tell us in the comments by leaving the word star so we'll know you felt it too. And remember, if you want to keep independent storytelling alive, the kind that treats the people behind the headlines as humans, press join. Until we meet again, trust the roots, not the wind, and keep your eyes on the moments that happen when the cameras are gone.